We have a great show today, and we're going to dive into your hearts. And this is going to be truly your show. We want you to participate today. Raise your hand, put some comments. We want to hear from you. We spoke yesterday about the video that we're going to show today, a day in the life of a driver. And nobody knows that better than you. You know, I got a lot of comments yesterday, emails from drivers across this country with some different perspectives. Let me tell you, I was interested in one of them that said, we signed up for this. And don't forget as well about the dispatchers, about the drivers, the local drivers, the safety folks, you know, the HR, everybody in this industry, right? What a phenomenal industry we're in. And without a doubt, probably some of the hardest workers, the best hearts in an industry, folks that take care of each other. But we're not here today to talk about them.
Yeah, we got Donna Kaysen on the line. What do you got for us, Donna?
Good morning, Miss Donna.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We do. Good morning to you, man.
Good morning. Look, I've been out here over 30 years, and when I originally started, it was tough out here. You know, it was. They say it's a man's world, and it was very tough. You know, the men say, "Well, you're taking my job," and the struggle, it was. But overall, we were accepted because they could see, you know, I earned my spot out here because I proved to the industry that I can do this. I know what I'm doing. I learn, I ask questions. And, you know, you have to earn that respect. And it used to be a lot more fun out here as far as, you know, helping each other out. You know, whenever you pull into a truck stop, if it was dark or whatever, you dimmed your lights and you waited for a driver to back into a spot and set his brakes. There wasn't no rush, hurry, rush, you know. But on the other side of that, you know, I feel isolated out here because I don't get out and really talk to a lot of drivers or mingle or anything because I'm a female. I don't walk around the parking lot. I go in and do what I got to do. I close up my house. So a lot of people don't realize that there's a woman in that truck just to be, you know, protect myself. With the COVID, it was even worse. You know, the struggle was real. And it made me even feel more isolated. When I go into a truck stop and I sit at a restaurant, when I do, I want to sit in the back. I don't want to be up there around the other drivers or around people. And I don't know if it's because I've been driving for so long that I'm isolated in this truck. I used to, when I was married, run team with my husband at the time, and it was great. And when I get tired, I'm thinking, why am I still doing this? You know, do I need to get out of it and find something local? Or I don't have a clue, but it's in my blood thick, and this is what I do. When I get rested, I'm ready to rock and roll again. I take pride in what I do. I've made mistakes in the past. I know I make mistakes today, but I try to learn by them. And I love each and every one of these drivers out here because they're in the same boat. They feel isolated. And I do talk to, you know, a few drivers from time to time, and I make people smile and laugh and everything. You know, I'll look at them like I'm looking at them through binoculars, and they just crack up. People need to know that they're cared for, and just to take 1 second away from whatever's going on in their life, that's what makes me smile and my heart big. But it is tough out here, Sir Rick, and it's getting tougher. It's getting extremely tough. So
thank you,
that's all I have.
Hey, I appreciate
yes,
that.
Sir.
I love the fact that you're opening up a little bit. And
good morning. Can y'all hear me?
We hear you, sir.
I just wanted to touch base on it, Rick. One of the things that, you know, I've found as rapidly approaching my 3 million mile mark, I've been out here for a little bit here, and as Donna said, the isolation is one thing, but I think also with the COVID, something that really touched all of us is being on the front lines is the risk that not only we are in, but we have to think, what are we going to take back home to our families? We have people in our family that are immunocompromised, and I have to worry about that. Am I going to bring something home that's not only going to affect me, but is it going to affect my family too? So I always think about that. I'm scared about that all the time.
You as a company, you as a dispatch, it doesn't matter. You have the opportunity to make a difference in their lives. And that means not taking the easy way out. To make a difference is hard. That means you're going to stand up for somebody. Somebody that's not getting the loads, the miles, or the respect that they need as a manager, as a dispatcher, driver, whatever you're called. You are called to protect that family.
This first one, what we'd never want to see, but a truck upside down, actually, the cab is. So this was a horrific wreck. It looks like the trailer is either still parts of it there or it's been removed, but the cab upside down. Folks, situational awareness, be alert. It's been one of the topics. It was the first one we talked about. Make sure, we don't know what happened there, but obviously something distracted. There was a situational awareness that wasn't taken into effect. Could be wind, you name it. I see the big green sign there is tilted. Maybe it was a wind blowing accident here. When we give these warnings and alerts, please take them to heart. Don't just realize that, hey, you're driving along and there's no wind. The area has the gust. You can see that sign's kind of twisted there. So maybe it was one of those where a wind gust got this truck. Just be mindful of the situation when just because the wind isn't gusting right where you're at, 5 miles, 2 miles down the road, it could absolutely be gusting for you. So you just got to slow down. Folks, this looks like good and the speed's down, but it is still tailgating, right? You cannot see what's going on in front of this vehicle. And then the lane change wasn't too bad, but then boom, right? Nowhere in the back of that picture do you see a hot spot coming ahead. There's a signage there with some restaurants or gas stations, but you don't see what's going above, and then you pop out, and there's all this potential hazard. You got to back off and get that big picture. And again, we were talking about winds. You can see the dust. Watch what happens to this driver and the visibility that just happened. You can barely see cars in the other direction coming out. There's a truck. So, this is worse than fog, but these winds and these dust storms, got to slow it down. This driver did that. But just be mindful out there. When you're out in the west and those wide open plains, you're going to see this time of year, especially with farmers out there taking the corn out, all that's left is the dirt and the dust when the winds kick up. And here, great job. Construction, slowing down. Oops. This driver pulling a double, right? And you seen the swerve. That easily could have laid over right there. Just great job. Again, want to keep the space back. What we're seeing with the technology, folks, is this looks like a safe distance, but it's 1 second. It is not an actual safe distance. So just kind of, and it's things we can learn from, not to point the finger, or this doesn't mean this driver's a bad driver. It just means we've got to change what we think is 1 second and safe following distance and realize that it's only 1 second and that's really not enough. Here, another one, right? This one, you see the truck coming over, but this needs to be backed out sooner because as you can see right at the beginning of this was a potential for a lot of mayhem right away, and there wasn't a lot of reaction time. But as you can see, this driver does eventually back out and increase that space, but probably wanted to do that, start a little sooner. You can see the merge coming. It's just had a recipe for potential major pile up here. And this driver does realize that and backs off. You can see the space increasing, but right here, kind of got to do it maybe a little sooner, right? Recognize that and make that decision. And that's what we talk about them seconds. It takes you 1 second on average to realize a situation and then start to make the corrective actions. So you've got to stay more back than 2 and 3 seconds. Good job there. And again, we talk all the time, courtesy. When these people flip off drivers, it drives me nuts. So Rick talked about letting a driver in. Look at it. This driver is just going to let traffic in. You're not going anywhere. Why not let them in and avoid the accidents? Everybody that's merging on there clearly knows this driver by the amount of space leaving, and then actually almost comes to a complete stop, that they're going to let them in, right? So great job by this driver being courteous out there, changing the industry perception. Remember, perception for most of us is reality when it's really not.